for me, I take that approach, and then I also take the approach of I may have more work to do, but I'm about to get a nap in here, right now.
Listen, Dave.
Come on,
you've been in my office down here, and you notice there's a wonderful little couch.
I've seen it.
You've seen it. Yeah. And and my office is at the end of the hallway.
Right.
It is in the furthermost part of the building, and people think I'm in a heavy intercessory prayer time. Just that little 10-minute nap is my intercession for the day.
Hey man,
the
you gotta
pastor
pace
is praying.
Yeah.
Pastor might be snoring up
Yeah,
in there.
it might be. You never know. Yeah, especially on those days where it's long.
Yeah, because those days are there.
Yeah.
Life can be fast-paced, strenuous, and flat-out overwhelming. Life transitions and taboo topics can make it hard to catch your breath. Welcome to Breathe, a podcast that enables you to slow down, get your bearings, and engage in real conversations where no topic is off limits. Breathe is presented by Breath of Life, hosted by David Person and speaker-director Pastor Deblier Snell.
Boom!
End of March, we're still here.
Come on,
Yeah.
Still doing this
come
thing.
on.
We thank you for your support. Welcome to Breathe.
Breathe.
Pastor Deblier Snell.
All right.
Pastor Kirk Nugent.
We here, man.
David Person. Good to be with you, and good to have you continuing to ride this journey, take this journey with us as we are looking at establishing new normals.
New normals.
New normals.
That's it.
2026 should be and can be different than 2025. That's the whole point of this.
Love it.
And we've been enjoying this conversation about new normals. Last week, it was about being confrontational.
Oh, yeah.
Making that a new normal.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Not combative, but confrontational.
There you go.
Confrontational. That's good.
And today we want to talk, especially to you type A people.
Yeah.
Y'all, the folks out there that are out there just, man, you're getting up at 4 a.m, you're going to bed at midnight, you're grinding hard, and we're all for being industrious,
Yeah.
but we're also saying that maybe it's time to make slowing down
Slowing down.
A new normal.
your new normal.
Good. That's good.
What were you thinking about when you came up with this?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think we, of course, I deal a lot in the spiritual space, but I consume a lot of, I guess, what you would term motivational content as well. And one of the, I guess, motifs is like kind of what you would refer to as grind culture. And it's somebody that says, all right, in order for you to live this dream or to achieve, it's kind of really a call toward imbalance that says, you got to be up at 4 a.m, and you just said that, you can't sleep, and you can sleep when you're dead. And really it is this focus that is so strict that I'm gonna pursue this at the expense of personal, physical health,
Mercy.
mental health, family health, and all of the sorts. And it essentially, places an emphasis on effort and work, and, it doesn't matter what else dies as long as this one thing lives. And I think that's kind of really one of the challenges. And I think it's taken on a life. I think it's, it's prevalent in a lot of self-help literature, books, or just even people of notoriety, they kind of promote that. And I kind of feel like, I don't know that aligns with our values as believers.
No.
I think as believers, there is just a principle of pace is kind of laid out, not just in terms of just spiritually, but I think it is a strategy that allows you to be able to realize God's purposes for you, and you're able to do it in a way that physically you can still be healthy, that your family can still be intact, mentally you can still be sharp and have all of your faculties functioning. So I just think, grind culture says it's one or the other. And grind culture is very much comparison based. So it's really, I got to do it this way so I can beat you there. Whereas like the Bible essentially says the steps of a good man are ordered by God.
Right.
So when I realize my steps are ordered, I'm not living in my peripheral vision.
Wow.
I'm not in a space of competition. I'm just moving according, to the providential leanings of God in my life. And grind culture requires me to beat you in order for me to thrive.
Mercy.
Whereas kind of when I realize my steps are ordered, I don't have to harm you in order to thrive.
Right,
we can all prosper simultaneously.
That's right.
If we're all operating in steps that have been ordered by the Most High. So I just think, man, just kind of having some margins. I think that's a part of slowing down. Just kind of having a sleep rhythm and a sleep hygiene. That's a part of slowing down. I think it's just making room. You know what I'm saying? To just kind of, this doesn't sound masculine, but smelling the roses, kind of as you go.
No, for real.
And not just being fixated on the destination. And just, I think a part of this is being able, even when I say slowing down, this is not a call to laziness.
No.
Apathy.
It's not. It's actually not that.
But just, I think sometimes as men, we'll get this. Just taking the time to be present. Like physically, I'm here.
Right.
Kind of mentally, emotionally, I can be somewhere else.
Mercy.
But just saying, I'm going to consolidate
That's good.
body, soul, and mind in this conversation with my daughter, spouse, or my friends.
Right.
So I think all of that is what it means to slow down a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know.
So I'm looking at you two brothers.
Oh.
And I know both of you all are very, you have very demanding schedules.
Yeah.
And you are the fruits of your labor speak for themselves. You're cranking out content. You're preaching all over the place. You're counseling and consulting with clients. I'm seeing you move.
Yeah.
And
you do the same thing.
Well,
we want to affirm you that way.
I do it,
Yes.
but
I'm glad you said it.
But I'm not as visible.
Not
in
as
certain
visible, but you're busy.
circles.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, because I would say that both of you are on the grind. Now, but what we're talking about today is slowing down.
Yeah.
So I want to know, and I think this is because people see you both.
Yeah.
And they see you out there doing your thing. How do you personally slow down?
Yeah. So let me just say this.
All right.
The theory of this is a lot more simple than the practice.
Okay.
But
all right.
But I've been probably, I would say, in the last 2 years on a journey of trying to reclaim my time a little bit.
All right.
And and so
I
what
love
that
that.
means
I love that.
is, so part of slowing down, sorry, church, is I found my no voice. And so I think, whereas there have been times where if I was physically able to be in X number of places, I would say yes to it just because I was physically able to do it.
Right.
And I felt like that was my obligation. But like there's
So
a
good.
certain thing, there, even with traveling, getting on, and off, there's a tax that comes with it all.
Absolutely.
And I think
Absolutely.
so part of me is just kind of saying, okay, I know technically I can be 4 places this week, but intelligently and being able to give my best offering and still be present when I come back, I'm only going to commit to 2 of those assignments this week.
Okay.
So
That's
a
good.
part of slowing down is me saying, all right, I'm not going to live at the top of my emotional or energy budget all the time. I'm going to kind of leave something in reserves.
Okay.
I think that's part of it. So for me, and honestly, it's kind of what some of us do who are part of our faith tradition. Sabbath is a part of slowing down.
Yeah.
Like taking a day where you can lay it down, put it down,
Not touch
unplug.
Yep.
Like, like that's a part of kind of maintaining a healthy pace.
Right.
And then I just think part of it as well is priority. So for me, it is like, as I look at the week, there is an evaluation. And let me be clear. I'm not saying I do this perfectly, but I have to kind of look at what are the things that I'm committing myself to that actually push my mission forward. And
So
what are the
good.
things that are just cultural expectations? So what I mean when I say that, like, this is going to sound bad because I do this, and this is not, I'm not against this. So members don't interpret. There may be somebody that wants me to come to their child's birthday party. Again, I'm not against that.
Yeah.
But that may not push the mission forward.
I got you.
It's kind of a nice thing if I could show up at this birthday party, this anniversary gathering.
Yeah.
And again, as often as I can as pastor, and I want to support and celebrate with people who are in a posture of celebration.
Yeah.
But if I got to choose between this act and being in this space that actually pushes the mission forward, then I have to kind of focus on the essential things and withdraw energy and time from the optional things.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I would. You hit the nail on the head. One of the things that I believe is your yes is degraded if your no is not proper.
Ooh, that's a word. That's a word.
That's
it's
it.
degraded.
Because you say if you're just getting yes, I'm not going to actually be able to do all the things. So I like a scenario where if I give you a yes, you can take that to the bank.
Yep.
But then if I give you a no, you need to look elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be able to do it. I was chatting with a good friend, and we share a similar philosophy of busyness. So there's something to be said of having something to do and working towards a goal and being frenetic. I think that the two do not need to be synonymous.
Frenetic.
You don't have to be Tasmanian devil. You're moving around, doing all kinds of stuff. No. And there's a number of things that I do. One of the things I generally, if I'm not expecting the call, I'm probably not going to answer. I'm sorry, family. If I'm not expecting, it's not because but if I'm working on something, I've seen this 100 times. If I'm working on something and I take the call, and then even if it's just 2 minutes, I hang up. I don't know what I was doing. I can't get back to what I was working on.
That's right.
So when I put something on the calendar, all right, for this hour, I'm going to be working on, Breathe podcast edits. For this hour, I'm going to be looking at YouTube stuff. For this hour, I'm going to have a coaching call. If somebody calls in the midst of that, I actually cannot answer because I need to focus on the thing that I'm doing. And I've found that has allowed me to really slow the pace.
Slow the pace.
And then I'm able to also on the calendar respond. I have a time where it's like, okay, let me respond to all the messages that I've missed while I was working on some of these other stuff. And I try to get all that stuff out. Now I'm going to lie. I also use the scheduled feature because sometimes I don't want them to respond back too quickly because I'm not in that season where I can respond again. But I think you'll find a way that works for you. Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm trying to be prescriptive. I just feel like there's a priority that you need to put on being able to, I think the way you said that, is this moving the mission forward? I do think that some of us are busy because we don't know how to say no. And we haven't guarded our time with activities and practices, principles that help us to stay focused on a particular task until it's finished. If you suffer with procrastination like I do, there's some things you got to be able to put in place. When it's flowing, I got to push everything out of the way. Because if I'm in a state of I'm getting it done. I got to, all right, I'm not going to be able to do that. I just want to stay on this until I can get this finished because I don't know when I'm going to get back to this thing again. So I just also, there's a rhythm of knowing yourself that I think is critical.
Very true.
But listen, Tuesday nights is game night at our house. Thursdays is date night. Not every Thursday night we go on a date. Sometimes we just sit in the car. But there are some rhythms that we've planned into our schedule that really help to kind of create a norm. And it doesn't necessarily feel busy, but it feels like I've been able to kind of catch my breath a little bit. Yeah.
But you know how that old adage is that kind of says less can be more?
Yeah.
And so I just kind of found that, kind of saying yes to a lesser volume of things allows me to show up.
That's good.
With more power, energy, focus, whether it's a preaching assignment, a teaching assignment, or just as a husband, as a father. And I think that, I've kind of found myself, and I think all of us, it's just a different, maybe work or lifestyle dynamic. So whether you're a stay-at-home mom, whether you're a CEO or a physician, I just kind of found myself maybe at the end of 2023 kind of feeling like, all right, because I said yes to so many things in 1 week, whoever was at the end of that week, I wasn't able to give them my best. And so, or even if I was able to give them my best professionally, by the time I got home, they couldn't get the best. So I just think that that's a part of it, just kind of recognizing, there's a text in the book of Psalms, or, God, the Bible, the text is escaping me at the moment, but it says, God knoweth our frame, and he remembereth that we are but dust. And at the end of the day, all of us, we are finite beings. We cannot be all things to all people at all times. Like there is only one being that can do that.
That's right.
And he is creator.
He's
created beings don't have that kind
Not
of
at
capacity.
all.
Nope.
And so I just think that, you know, we have to kind of be able to slow down enough to where, you know, and I guess the other thought is this. Life is not the 40-yard dash.
It's not.
Yeah.
Life is not the 100 meters. It's not a sprint.
Yeah.
It is a marathon.
Yeah.
So, like, when you watch the Olympics, the sprinters run at a different pace
They do.
than those who are doing a distance run. I ain't gonna lie, these guys are amazing athletes. They and women, like, even the pace they're doing the long term,
right,
it's probably faster than I can run the sprint.
Exactly.
But
Exactly,
they move at a different pace, not because they don't have the capacity to go faster, but they realize, all right, this is the distance I've got to travel. And in order to actually get, you know, 2 miles, 5 miles, 10 miles, and I can't move at that pace and actually get there.
That's right.
And I just think that there is a part of us that, you know, when we're looking at our life's journey, whether it is in your work, whether it is in raising your children, whether it is, like, honestly, how do you realize spiritually, like, you got to think marathon. You're not going, I have some seasons where there's a burst and a breakthrough, but most times it's,
Yep.
and you know what I'm saying? There's a pace to it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to be able to overcome everything in one day and every flaw in 121 days. Like, you got to have a pace to your spiritual journey, because you're thinking, you know, that long term. And so even when Paul came to it in life, he's like, man, you know, I've fought a good fight. I've run a good race. But, like, that race, you got to do it with a pace and understand you got to think the long term in mind.
Yeah. There's a in culture, I've heard the phrase, the term Sabbath used more in the last year or two than I have heard
outside of religious space.
Outside of it ever before.
Yep.
A good friend of mine was like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm not doing anything in July. That's my Sabbath month."
Yeah.
I was like, "What?
Okay.
What?"
Yeah.
And he just every 7 months he does nothing. Every 6, I don't know. I'm probably mixing it up. But the concept of 7 was also built into it. I was like, what in the world? I'd never heard that before. But I just feel like there's some truths that we've had as a people for forever.
Yeah.
That modern culture is now starting to recognize the merits of.
Yeah.
Rest. Just slowing down.
Yep.
Giving yourself time to recharge, rejuvenate, and sometimes people make mistake. So game night is a replenishing activity for me. I don't feel like I'm rushing to game night.
Right.
Game night refills. Date night refills. So, you know, it's something fun that I get to do, not something that I have to do. And so whatever that thing is, I think that's also something we got to plug into, is what refills you. Yeah. Because slowing down doesn't mean I'm sitting and doing nothing. Right. You're doing activities that refill, that are going to bolster.
That's a good distinction.
Yeah. So I all of those pieces, I think, man, these are things that are in culture today that we would do well to add to our regular diet and rhythm as well.
And if I could add just something as simple, when we're talking about slowing down, you know what you know, and this is something, it's actually one of my new normals that I've been trying to do, is actually just budget time to think.
Yes.
It's to budget
Good.
15, 20 minutes where I can just sort it through.
Yeah.
Think it through. Because your whole day will just be a day of reacting.
That's right.
And there'll be no strategy. There'll be no approach. There'll be, you know, you're able to respond as opposed to just react innately to things. And I just think the heavier your load, the more responsibility, the greater your demands. I think it's very, very much critical that you can have some time to kind of really sit still, think it through, maybe write some things down. You know, reevaluate some things. It actually is becoming one of the most invaluable portions of my day.
I love that.
That is exactly where I am. I journal. You know, a lot of people journal about personal stuff. I journal about my business stuff. It's how I stay organized in my mind and with what my priorities are. And I also think that we have to, Kirk, I think you really touched on this a lot. You know, we have to use no. We have to be really conscientious about setting boundaries.
Boundaries,
around our time our energy.
Yep.
And I also heard you say the same thing. You're setting boundaries around your time and your energy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something else. And you all may not be at this stage yet because you're not, I got y'all by a few years. I believe in the middle of the day nap.
Hey, man.
I'm gonna catch a nap. Now, I may not do it every day, but if I feel my body saying, and our friend, I remember I was having a conversation with our friend Kelvin Wooten one time, and Kelvin was saying, man, you know what? There's some days where my work day may only be, instead of it being the traditional 8 or 10 hours, it may be much less than that because I've gotten done what I need to get done. And so I don't need to push. I can stop right here. And it's been a good work day. And then go do something else.
Cool.
And I know for me, I take that approach, and then I also take the approach of I may have more work to do, but I'm about to get a nap in here. Right now.
Listen, Dave.
Come on,
you've been in my office down here, and you'll notice there's a wonderful little couch.
I've seen it.
Yeah. And and my office is at the end of the hallway.
Right.
It is in the furthermost part of the building, and people think I'm in a heavy intercessory prayer time. Just that little 10-minute nap is my intercession for the day.
Hey, man,
the pastor is praying. Pastor might be snoring up in there.
Might be. You never know. Yeah, especially on those days where it's long.
Because those days are there.
It's so funny because my days are start early, and so like the first half of my day is more study, thought development, preparation. The afternoons are more meetings. So sometimes by 12, especially right after lunch, you can have that little haze. And in order to give good counsel in the afternoon, you get about 7 to 12 minutes, man. And it's not even always intentional. It's just I'm just trying to think. And you wake up and you get to go.
You're awake,
It's
man.
good you give yourself permission to do that. And I had to learn to do that.
Oh, did you?
Just give myself permission to.
Yeah.
It's okay if I'm I've eaten lunch and I'm going to take 30 minutes or so to sit there and I might drift off.
I'm trying to get you to come back.
My fault. I'm 30 minutes. I try to budget in my mind. After lunch. 30 minutes of just, I'm not doing anything. Other than chilling.
Or sometimes Gianna will kind of create space where just as soon as I get home. Kind of, 30, 45 minutes. And she'll kind of keep life at bay for us a little bit.
That's gold.
And once I kind of come out, maybe maybe it's a nap, maybe it's just kind of soaking in a little sports center. I can come back out and I can engage and
Get
a little bit more.
That's gold.
That's
gold. I love that,
That's
man.
right.
I love that. Yeah, slow it down, man.
And those of us who are in this, ministry is not just a spiritual field; it's a creative field.
It is.
And whether you're doing ministry or politics and media, these are fields where you have to take time. To think.
You do.
To reflect. You can't just move from thing to thing to thing because then you won't have fresh ideas and content.
That's right.
You won't be able to develop sermons or speeches or podcast content.
Oh, you're right.
Whatever it is
You're
we're
right.
trying to do, right?
But I think it's the same whether you're a teacher and you need that space to create fresh lectures.
Absolutely.
Or even if you're a mom and you need to be able to show up with you need to be your cup to be full. In order to pour into all those kids. Or you're a dad. So I just think it goes across. I think it is it's a human principle that I just think we all have to embrace. And it's just kind of saying, okay, I realize that the road I'm on is a long one. But in order to finish the race, I got to operate at a pace that's going to allow me to be able to get there. And so I just think it's just, honestly, this is not a call to laziness because none of us at that table, that's not an ethic we espouse.
Not at all.
All right? But I just think just saying, hey, a vacation, it's a righteous action.
That's right.
Keeping the weekly Sabbath is a righteous, good, healthy action. Being present. Even like Jesus, it's funny, Jesus had such a good time. He only had 3.5 years to do what he had to get done.
Come on.
But he would have such a good time with people. They'd be like, yo, this guy's a a wine bibber in the center. Like, I mean, like, what are you doing? He having all this fun. That was Jesus. And there were times where he departed and he rested and told the disciples, let's come back to the lakeside and let's rest a while.
That's right.
And he had time that he would go, the Bible says he would go into a solitary place early while it was still dark and find a solitary place to pray. Like, he modeled rhythms for us that if we just Christ-like, we'll get the winning formula.
The only other thing I want to add in there is that for many, they equate slowing down to stopping, and it is not stopping.
It's not stopping.
It's slowing down.
Yep.
It's not taking on so much. It's not moving at a pace that you can't maintain. You can't sustain over a long haul. But I really just want to kind of double click on this thing of finding what refills you.
Yeah.
I think, man, there's just when you find those things, it could be the nap, but it could be a podcast. I mean, for some of you, Breathe is your slow down, and it kind of gives you ideas that allows you to see some things. But something that refills you, finding activity that refills you is activity that you can kind of plug into some of those spots that you were going to do something else, and you can replenish yourself. So
that's it.
You show back up a little bit more prepared.
That's it.
Ready to go.
Refreshed, ready to go.
I love it.
Pacing yourself. We're talking about pacing yourself from a spiritual standpoint and applying that to all areas of your life. And that's why we end every podcast by saying stop.
There you go.
That's about pacing.
That's it.
Stop.
Yeah.
Reflect for a minute.
Look at that.
Assess things.
Yeah.
Then pray.
That's good.
And then, also pacing, breathe.
Breathe is produced by David Person for Breath of Life. Executive producer is Debliere Snell. And sound engineer is Kirk Nugent. Audio episodes of Breathe can be found on Apple, Spotify, or Google podcast platforms. For video episodes and extra content, check out the Breath of Life YouTube channel. Breath of Life is faith-based content, resources, and programs from a contemporary urban perspective for those looking for hope and guidance. We believe that every breath we take is a testimony that God is consistent, that He loves us, and has a plan for our lives.